good afternoon to everybody. So thank you, Hild, for the presentation. It could help a bit to understand why I am particularly involved and concerned by IPBES, and by IUCN work on that issue. So just to move that slide. Yeah, the green one, sorry. Okay. So what is interesting with this example is that some experts and some civil servants have really understood the possible added value of IPBES on that issue, and also the fact that if we are not part of the fast-track assessment on pollinators and food production, we will miss an opportunity, even if many issues concerning IPBES are not yet solved, as Hendrik explained to us. So, just to recall and remind the context, there is a IUCN task force on systemic pesticides and their impact on biodiversity and ecosystem services. This task force, I will explain a bit later how it works, but this task force has submitted a motion at the last IUCN World Congress in 2012. A motion has been adopted there asking to support for a comprehensive scientific review of the impact on global biodiversity of systemic pesticides, mainly neonicotinoids, by a joint task force of 2 IUCN commissions. So it's a very specific task force which is not supported by IUCN head office in Switzerland, but which has been established under the umbrella of 2 commissions. One on Species Survival Commission, Simon Stewart being the chair of that commission, and Commission on Ecosystem Management, Pete Witt being the chair of that commission. So the task force has been established in 2009 in recognition of the fact that there is a rapid growing global use and prophylactic use, which is a huge concern, of highly parasitant systemic pesticides, very toxic to invertebrates, including pollinators, and this poses a major threat to biodiversity and ecosystem services. Therefore, a number of independent scientists have established a task force. I just explained that before, and at present it numbers 49 experts and scientific advisors from 15 countries, including Belgium, in addition to a number of correspondents in other ones. So, what will be the main outcome of this task force? And it's very soon in June. It is called the World Impact Assessment. 29 authors, all members of the task force, and we have one in the meeting room, Noah, reviewed 850 publications on the systemic pesticides and their impact both on biodiversity and ecosystem services. So it's not only on pollinators, but pollinators is a very key aspect and is also the top of the iceberg. When you speak about bees, everybody is listening to you, and behind this story about bees, you can have the whole story on the real impact on those pesticides on our life. So the World Impact Assessment, which is still under embargo for a couple of weeks yet, contain 7 chapters, including one on impact on pollinators and on pollination service. The outcome, the main result and findings of the WIA will be the identification by independent scientists of some major findings which are not yet known by the policymakers or by the public. The WIA identifies also some knowledge gaps which have to be still covered, and will formulate some policy recommendations. So you can see this World Impact Assessment is a kind of micro IPBES work which will be available immediately as contribution to a fast track assessment, which is one of the goals of those parts of the work program being delivering as soon as possible a real added value product from IPBES, demonstrating the real and concrete added value of IPBES. So just for your information, this impact assessment will be available thanks to an open access next month. There will be a paper publication in October, also a policy paper for a scientific review at the same date, and the formal launch at global level will take place in Brussels on the 24th of June, in parallel with meetings in Manila, Ottawa, and Tokyo. So everybody will discover those findings. So just to inform, there is a concrete example of a research and of a publication by members of the task force, neonicotinoids, bee disorders and the sustainability of pollinator services, which fits with the fast track assessment of IPBES on that issue. So you have here the name. Noah is member of CARI. Dave Golson is a very well-known international expert. Jean-Marc Bonmatin is French. And why those three names are here mentioned, because you will see we have Belgium as government has nominated some experts for being involved in the assessment on pollinators, pollination and food production, which is deliverable 3A in the work program. I am quite sure that if this fast track assessment has been unanimously adopted in December, it's because the FAO is behind, I think, this assessment. It's the main UN agency concerned, but also UNEP. Belgium nominated 10 experts as candidates to contribute to the platform, and the criterion was an excellency basis, quality basis. We have nominated 5 experts from Belgium, here are the names, plus 5 other ones from other countries, but all being at least the 5 other ones and 1 Belgian, Mrs. Simon Delso. All those experts are the members of the task force of IUCN on pollinators. So it was a test case for us on a very objective way to propose nomination of very well-known, skilled and independent experts, being Belgian or not. So the status list not yet finalized, and Hilt, if I am wrong, you could correct me later, but IPBES has pre-selected 4 experts as leading author, mainly, but no Belgian people. But at least they are pre-selected. So the main purpose for Belgium as government was not to miss the opportunity of including a chapter or section in the fast track assessment on systemic pesticides, which is a missing link in the global discussion, even from an assessment point of view. So I just would like to summarize some aspects now. What has done and what is doing the task force. It fits with the 4 goals of IPBES, providing key scientific information, assessing the knowledge, formulating policy recommendation, but also providing some capacity building recommendations. And those 4 axes are also 4 axes for the task force. Because the real concern for neonics, it's mainly now in Asia and Africa, with China and India, and the development of generics, and it's very, very crucial for those countries to be well aware of the risks posed by those pesticides. And a real risk also, I didn't mention it in the slide, but the existing initiatives from FAO and UNEP on pollinators and sustainable agriculture, didn't mention those pesticides as a risk and as a threat to biodiversity. And when we made within the task force a kind of strategic balance of spending time in this exercise, the experts decided to contribute to the IPBES assessment, because otherwise could have been a risk that systemic pesticides won't be mentioned at all in the fast track assessment. I thank you.